guys, welcome back to another video. Okay, in today's video, something I'm big on here is how to increase your metabolism. Now, I get this question all the time. First of all, why should you even listen to me? My name is Max Rogers. I own a coaching company where I've helped over 500 people in the last 4 years lose a lot of fat, build a lot of muscle, and increase their metabolism. It's kind of a buzzword at the moment. I'm going to try and break this down and make it as simple as possible, and hopefully you'll learn a thing or two. So first thing we need to think about is we have something called our total daily energy expenditure. Hopefully you can see my little drawing here. TDEE, we've all heard of it, okay? And it's broken down into a few things. We have NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which, okay, we have the thermic effect of food, we have exercise activity, and then we have your BMR. Now, you'll see different charts that say different things, but roughly NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is what I'm doing now is burning calories, moving my hands. Doesn't seem like much, but over 16 hours, it adds up to about 10% of those total calories burned. The thermic effect of food, basically protein. Protein is, I think, around 20% is lost through digestion, and then carbs and fats are around between 1 and 3 or 5%, okay? We have exercise activity, so only roughly 10% of the calories you burn in a day come from actual exercise for the majority of us. And then you have your BMR, so the bulk of your calories day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year come from your basal metabolic rate, between 60 and 70%. This is super important to know, and it leads me into this, okay? So we know that over time, if we want to have long-term fat loss and be leaner over time, we know that we really want to try and increase our BMR, okay? And not smash the other stuff as much as we think, but they are obviously important, okay? So we know one thing for sure. Increasing your overall muscle will help increase your BMR, because having more muscle will lead to an increase in your metabolism. Everybody knows this, okay? This is done by strength training. I've done so many videos on this, on which plan is best, male, female, all that good stuff. But just know this, if we want to have a higher metabolism, we really want to be strength training and put on as much muscle on our frame as possible, because this is a huge component of your BMR, okay? Which leads me to, if you're somebody that wants to be lean long term and you're doing hours and hours of cardio, especially steady state cardio or low intensity steady state cardio, it tends to lead to a breakdown in muscle as well. And over time, this will lead to a decrease in your BMR, because excessive amounts of cardio without strength training, without protein, will also eat away at muscle, and that will drop your BMR, and then you're kind of stepping over a 10-pound note to pick up a penny, okay? That's not to say that cardio doesn't have its role and it has its place. We'll get into that shortly, okay? But if you want to be lean long-term and increase your metabolism, strength training should be your #1 priority when it comes to exercise, okay? Of course, cardio burns calories. HIIT cardio burns calories and can slightly increase your metabolism. But hours and hours of steady state cardio is not the way to go for long-term fat loss, okay? Now, we also know that an increase in protein, okay, is gonna help with our metabolism, because it has a high thermic effect, and it also carries over into building muscle, which is gonna help our BMR. So we know that the average person that has a higher protein diet tends to be leaner over time, okay? Because first of all, it's satiating. You tend to eat less of the other stuff, carbs and fats. It allows us to build more muscle or retain more muscle, and that has huge carryover into what really matters. Again, your BMR, okay? One thing that's proven to work with your metabolism is reverse dieting. Now, a lot of people look at this as at the end of a fat loss phase, you just think, all right, I've done my fat loss phase, now I need to reverse diet. Yes, that is true, but we should all be trying to drive our calories up over time, okay? If you finish a diet, again, I've done so many videos on reverse dieting, but if you finish a diet at 1,800 calories, you don't want to go up to 3,000 calories. You want to slowly creep your calories up and up and up and up and up and up and up. The higher we can get our calories, the better, okay? Because then the easier it is to lose weight, because then all you have to do is a little drop. all right? But even if you're not in a fat loss phase, it makes sense to slowly try and creep up your calories, because over time, if you can maintain your body weight on 3,000 calories, you're gonna find it very easy to get lean, because you only have to drop to 2,500. Where if you have someone that's yo-yo dieting all the time over the years, and they can't even hold their body weight at 1,500 calories, and they've got to do 1,000 calories to lose weight, talking about women, they're in big, big trouble. So if you're somebody that's yo-yo dieted your whole life, you can't manage to stay lean, that should be at the top with strength training, reverse dieting and strength training, okay? And that leads me to my next thing, okay? We have to diet slow, guys. When you're trying to lose body fat, if you want to keep your metabolism as high as possible, which should be everybody's priority, you want to have a slow reduction in calories, slowly decrease over time, slowly increase output over time. We don't just say, right, all my calories are gone, all my carbs are gone, all my cardio is through the roof. The faster you diet and the faster you lose weight, the bigger of a drop in your metabolism you have. The slower we can go, the better. The slower you diet, the more muscle you keep. The more muscle you keep, the higher your BMR. Very, very important for people who are trying to do these 8-week fat loss challenges. They're trying to get ripped in 4 weeks. Slow is always better, okay? Here's one thing I want to talk about as well before I go into what doesn't work, okay? Your NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, moving around all day. What we have found is that when we massively increase our cardio, the body will pick up on this and it will decrease our NEAT. For example, this is why in a fat loss phase, you'll always hear our 10,000 steps a day. No matter what you do 10,000 steps. Doesn't matter if you've done 4 hours of cardio that day on a bike, you've done this, you always do your 10,000 steps, okay? They stay consistent in a fat loss phase, because if you're not tracking your steps when you're trying to lose weight and trying to keep your metabolism up, you'll notice that as you start to get leaner and leaner and leaner, your NEAT just drops. People that do excessive amounts of cardio, the body will pick up on it and their NEAT tends to drop. So it almost evens out, if you will. So that's something to think about. So we know we want to keep our protein high, but it's not the be all and end all. Don't just think, oh, if I just eat loads of protein, I'm just going to get ripped. Not true. It's a very small part of your overall calories burned in the day. Exercise, a very small part of calories burned in the day, okay? And again, the higher the cardio things and training goes, the kind of lower this goes. So always track your steps and keep them consistent during a fat loss phase. I'm telling you, they will drop without you even realizing it. Now, things that don't work, that get a lot of hype and a lot of love, things like saunas. I read a study recently that was like, I don't know, 15, if you spend, I think it's 20 minutes in a normal temperature room, you burn, I think, 15 calories just by this, with your BMR. And if you're in a sauna, I believe it was like 19 calories. So it's like a 4 or 5 calorie increase. Doing a sauna every day isn't going to get you ripped. It has different benefits. I sauna about 4 times a week. I don't do it to get lean. The reason you look better when you come out is because you're dehydrated, okay? Ice baths, all this like brown fat nonsense. You're not just going to start ice bathing for 3 minutes a day and just get ripped. It's just fucking crazy. Smaller meals. You hear this one a lot. You can eat 1 meal a day. You can eat 12 meals a day. It's the overall number of calories that matter, okay? Again, leads me to this. We still want to drop our calories slowly, but meal frequency doesn't matter with your metabolism, okay? And then we have the obviously marketing nonsense. Green tea increases your metabolism. Okay, eat 4,000 calories a day, have a green tea before bed. Stoke the fire, gonna get lean. No, doesn't work. L-carnitine doesn't work unless it's injected, and 99.9% of you aren't injecting L-carnitine into your stomach or into your glute, let's be honest. Fat burners, again, most of it is nonsense, but one thing I will say is that caffeine, an increase in caffeine, is going to get you fidgety and moving, and in a fat loss phase, when you're trying to hold on to a muscle and keep your metabolism high, caffeine can be super beneficial, because first of all, it can get you off your ass and get you to move more, and it gets you fidgeting and moving more. So it has a huge role in fat loss. So I guess you could say fat burners could work because they're full of caffeine, but if you think you can keep your calories the same, hit a sauna whilst drinking a fat burner drink, have an ice bath, and then have 12 meals instead of 3 meals, wash a green tea down before bed and you think you're just going to get leaner, you're going to be sadly mistaken. This is key, guys. Focus on building muscle and increasing your calories over time to increase your metabolism. And when you're trying to lose fat, still focus on retaining as much muscle as possible with protein and decrease your calories as slowly as possible. So, I hope you learned something, and that is the end of that.